Hi everyone, my name is Shay and welcome back to Don't Leave Them Alone, a healing ground for people who've experienced childhood sexual abuse, trauma, or assault, because we believe it's time to be free. And for today's video, it's going to be a little bit different from my other videos on this channel. I don't have any type of notes, I don't have any type of structure, but really the purpose of this video is just to sit down and give a message. And this message is specifically for survivors. And I know that this channel focuses primarily on childhood trauma, but if you've experienced trauma in any season of your life, this message is for you. And the message is, it's time to heal. I'm gonna say it again. It's time to heal. Now is the time to heal. And I know that this is around about the time where a lot of you will click off, dislike, unsubscribe from this channel, but I promise you, if you just hold on for the next 5 or 10 minutes, however long this video turns out to be, you don't have to watch any other video from me, but I just want you to hear this message today. It's time to heal. And I know a lot of you do not want to hear that. A lot of you are running away. And I can't say that I didn't do the same in the earlier parts of my life. For literally 23 years of my life, I was running away from my healing, and I'm 26. It just goes to show how the enemy has a lot of us in bondage. He has a lot of us fooled in deception, thinking that we don't need healing or that we can't find healing for what it is that we went through. And a lot of what I used to do when the Lord first began calling me to heal, I used to suppress it. I really believed that if I could just act like this thing never happened, never acknowledge it, suppress it, bury it, put it in my back pocket, I just felt like, okay, if I do that, I'm going to be able to go about my life and live normally. And I mean, that was true for the first couple of years in my life. Like, it worked. I was able to go to school. I was able to function. I was able to have hobbies, have friends, be a sister, be a daughter, be a classmate. I was able to do a lot of these things, even with this thing in the back of my neck like this. The memory, the pain, the emotion, I was able to function. But I could not deny that when the clock turned to a certain hour, when the lights were off and it was just me, I couldn't deny that that same thing that I was suppressing rose back up again and began to torment me. Serious torment in my mind, just replaying, the devil just telling me things, all of the guilt, all of the shame. And eventually it became too much for me to carry. And I know that the Lord was calling me to healing for a very long time. My issue was that for me, my healing journey started with me telling my testimony. And for a very long time, I didn't want to tell my testimony because I felt like it went against everything that I was trying to do and prove. Like I said, I was trying to suppress a lot of things. I was trying to bury it, act like it never happened. And telling my testimony would bring this very thing that I'm trying to ignore to reality. And I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want it to be true. I wanted it to be a mystery. I wanted to bury it so deep that I had to ask myself, like, did this really happen? Or is this just something that my memory is trying to put together? But the Lord was pressing on me from 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way up to age 23. You need to tell your testimony. You know, the Lord is so right. Like, it sounds weird to say that, but God was right all along. Because the minute that I shared with my mom, she was one of the first people that I was led to tell. And I'm telling you, the minute that I released to her what had happened to me, it was almost like a weight was lifted off of me. It was like a light came into that darkness that Satan wanted to keep me in. Because I was just tormented so long with thoughts of, oh, nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to know what happened to you. You're guilty. You should be ashamed. This is such an ugly, nasty, gross part of you. Who would want to be with you? Who would want to get to know you? Nobody wants to hear that. These are the lies that the enemy is telling me. And as long as I kept my mouth shut, as long as I kept trying to suppress and trying to battle with him in my own flesh, he came right back up again and tormented me. And I mean, day and night, it was like clockwork. He did not sleep. And I mean, why would he? Because it's only now that after the Lord has begun to put me on this journey that I truly have begun to see what the Lord has placed in me and who he has called me to be. You know, I'm just urging you, if you are a person who has gone through something similar to my story, now is not the time to continue to suppress. Now is not the time to continue to try to push the memories and the pain down. You have to tell someone. And I don't have the recipe for who you should tell, but I'm asking you, at the very least, just allow the Lord to be your therapist. Allow the Lord to be your counselor, because God is a therapist. He's a counselor. He's a psychiatric professional. He is everything. And that's not me saying that you just have to go to God for therapy. Obviously, he placed some amazing people on the earth to do his work through. Every time that the Lord had to do a work, he chose a man. He chose Moses. He chose Elijah. All types of people and all types of men and women from all walks of life to bring about his will on earth. And so I'm not saying that you don't have to go to a psychiatrist and get professional help. But I'm saying that if you just posture yourself and just understand that the Lord is a healer and that he can heal that part of you, you won't even begin to know the things that he can do in your life and how quickly he can do it. Like the minute that I told my mother about it, that weight was lifted off my shoulders, because for the first time I felt like, okay, wow, I don't have to keep this secret anymore. I don't have to feel like I'm trapped in bondage anymore. There was another time where I felt the Lord prompting me to tell my testimony again, and at that point I was kind of still ashamed and kind of still battling with different feelings and things like that. And I prayed to God. I said, God, you want me to tell my testimony? I feel you nudging me to tell my testimony again, but who am I going to tell? Like, God, I would love to tell someone, but I don't want to tell someone who is going to judge me. I want to tell someone who's going to understand. And literally the day that I prayed that prayer, I had started going to another church, and God put me into contact with a girl at the church who literally went through the same thing that I went through. The way that he did it was that he gave her a dream about me, which prompted her to come to me, and we started that conversation and we talked about it. You just have to begin to open up yourself to allow the Lord to heal you, and he will place people in your life, give you things that's going to aid you on your healing journey, and it's going to hurt. I'm telling you, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Like, I wrestle with God for years. I feel like if I really sat down and thought about it, the Lord told me to tell my testimony maybe 5 or 10 years ago, and I just did it at 23. I've seen why he told me to do it. I'm literally living in the fruit of that instruction. And so it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but I feel like you have to be desperate enough. I don't think a lot of us are desperate enough. I got to a point where I was like, I can't live in this torment anymore. I can't live with these suicidal thoughts. I can't live in this darkness anymore. I cannot suppress this thing down in my own power anymore, God. Why is it that as many times as I push and I bury it down, it still comes back up? You have to be tired. You have to be tired of fighting the same battle enough to want to go to God and ask the Lord to heal you and allow him to heal you. Like, what is it going to take? Aren't you tired of crying? Aren't you tired when you're not around friends and not around family members? Aren't you tired of the torment? Aren't you tired of walking through that same situation over and over again? Aren't you tired of being riddled with guilt, riddled with shame? Aren't you tired of being in bondage and allowing the enemy to keep you bound? There are so many of you out there right now who are living in deception. You think that this is what your life has to be. You think that you have to live with the stain and the pain of this thing for the rest of your life, and you do not. There are days where I get emotional. There are days where I feel the pain, but I've walked with the Lord enough and I've been healed by him enough to know that every time I feel guilty, every time I feel shame, every time I feel depression, it's because the enemy is trying to keep me in bondage. But the Lord has shown me how there's freedom in His word, how His power is greater than any power that the enemy has over me, and I can overcome. There's so many of you, you're trying to figure out, why are you so depressed? Why are you such a timid person? Why can't you stop people pleasing? Why can't you step out in confidence? It's because you're in bondage and you're not allowing the Lord to break you out of that bondage. You're not allowing the Lord to heal you. A lot of you are thinking that you've buried what has happened to you and that it's done, that the effects of it can be buried with that. But no, it's showing up in your life right now. Why do you think that you're always sad? Why do you think that you're always looking for love? Why do you think that you're always struggling and trying to be perfect? All of this is connected to that open door that the enemy used in the beginning of your life as a child. All of these things that you see in your life are literally fruits springing up from the seed that the enemy opened when you were a child. And so what is it going to take for you to deal with the root of your issues? Like, there is such a version of you that the Lord wants to bring out, but you have to let Him heal you. You have to let Him walk you through the healing. God is a therapist. He's a therapist. And I want to read Isaiah 9. Isaiah 9:6 says, "For a child will be born for us, a son will be given to us, and the government will be on His shoulders. He will be named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace." And so this verse, He's being called Wonderful Counselor. A counselor is someone who can give you advice. A counselor is somebody who can create a plan and order your steps toward healing. And that's exactly what the Lord did for me. If you really think about it, right? I have never sat on a therapist couch. Didn't have the best relationship with my mother, as in, we weren't horrible, but I wasn't open with my mother. I didn't feel as if I could be open with her. And in addition to that, I didn't really have that much friends in school. I had friends, I had people, but there was really no one who I could trust. Same way that I can sit and tell my testimony to you all so freely. I didn't have that back then. There was literally no one in my life. No one. Again, I told my mother about this at 23 years old. May have even been 24. So from 4 to 24, 20 years, I dealt with this. And don't even think that I just dealt with this. I dealt with depression. I dealt with suicidal thoughts. I dealt with anger. I dealt with bitterness. I dealt with literal mental torment to the point where I felt as if I was going crazy. Sometimes I would think myself physically sick and weak in my room at night, really banging on walls, going insane. But it was always just something in me, even before I could really know what it was. These things that were statistically meant to take me out. I went through all of those things alone, and I'm still here. No therapist, no one to lean on. The only thing that I really knew how to do was to pray. And that was literally just out of legalism. I just knew to pray because that's what they told us to do in Sunday school, to pray. But you mean to tell me that I went through all of that? I went through that whole period of time by myself. And the only thing was that feeling I couldn't describe, to continue to go on, to continue to press on, to continue to pray, to continue to believe that there was purpose. I'm telling y'all, I didn't even know who Jesus was, but there was just something in me that was a fight. Something that helped me to fight, something that helped me to continue on. And I'm still here today. Like, how can you tell me that God isn't real? I'm literally supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be in a mental institution. There's a slight chance that if you've been abused, you go on to live a life of crime. You go on to live a life of extreme substance abuse and all of it. Like, I'm supposed to be a statistic. I don't think people understand. The enemy does not care about your background. Like, a lot of people may think because of the background that I had, because of the opportunities and the education that I was able to get, that is why I'm in the position that I am now. But the enemy doesn't care about that. He's going to launch every open door. He's going to open up every portal to open up a door that's going to change the whole trajectory of your life. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. The enemy does not care. He's going to send a plan to mess with you, to abuse you, to make you question things, to hurt you, to harm you, just so that he can knock what the Lord has placed in you before you were formed from your mother's womb. He doesn't care. Don't mind my background. I'm supposed to be a statistic. I'm supposed to be dead. Like, I don't even know any other way to explain it, bro. Like, there were days where I literally had migraines because I was thinking myself sick. But I'm still here. I'm sitting here preaching to y'all, telling y'all about something that I didn't even want to utter 20 years ago. Like, come on, you cannot tell me that God isn't real. You cannot tell me that you don't want to experience this healing. Like, God is real and God is a therapist. He's a counselor. He can heal you. And I think a lot of us are kind of opposed to healing because we want to know how he's going to heal us. Or when he brings certain things or asks of us certain things to do that's going to aid our healing, because we don't understand it, because it's hard, because we don't want to do it, we don't do it, and we eventually don't get the healing. But when have you ever went to a doctor and you asked him what was in a pill? You go to the doctor right now and you say, "Doc, I have a headache," and he gives you a pill and says, "Here, take this pill. This pill is going to heal you." 99.9% of y'all are going to take the pill with no question because you trust in that doctor. How many of you are awake during surgery when your doctor is literally pulling you apart and sticking a needle in your guts? How many of you are up telling him, "Hey doc, what are you doing? Hey doc, how are you going to do this?" Like, I mean, he may give you a little briefing in the beginning, but it's only so much that you understand from him. But all you know is that, hey, this doctor is credible. He's going to work on me. He's going to operate on me. And he promised that he's going to heal me. And then after that, you don't have any more questions. You just lay there and let him do his thing. And so why are we so different when it comes to God? And if anything, we should be apprehensive about these doctors because all the time they may not know what they're doing. They may not know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, some of them are they have very interesting practices that we have to analyze and we have to take into consideration. But we're talking about God, the ultimate healer, who literally created the heavens and the earth, who literally created every fiber, every atom, every proton in this world. And we want to question him and ask him why he's taking us through this avenue or this way for our healing. With God, healing is always guaranteed. It's always guaranteed. He literally promised us freedom. He said, "Who the Son sets free is free indeed." He said, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." And so why are we questioning God and his methods? I guess all I'm trying to say is, what is it going to take for you to begin healing? If you believe that you can spend the rest of your life pushing this thing down, ignoring it, pretending that it didn't happen, then I have horrible, terrible news for you. You're not going to be successful. I mean, you may have been successful all of this time, but it's not going to last. Trust me, unless you allow the Lord to uproot. Because the thing what the enemy does, when he opens that door, he's sticking roots. He's sticking roots. And like I said, all of these behaviors, all of these things, all of these quote unquote flaws that we have, insecurity, people pleasing, lack of confidence, timidity, all of these things are connected to that root and connected to that door that the enemy opened up in your life when you were sexually abused. And unless you allow the blood of Jesus to come and to uproot that, to close the doors, to clean house, the enemy, he made a deposit in your life. And trust me, he's going to come back for a return. Everything that he has deposited, he comes back for a return. And that's why, like, you see so many celebrities, people who are so successful, I think it was Chandler Moore the other day. He had to be checked into a mental institution or like a rehab camp. That man is older than me, has all the success in the world. And that thing that the enemy placed in his life from a child came right back up. And even in the midst of his success, it couldn't help him. The stage didn't help him. The music didn't help him. The tours didn't help him. The money didn't help him. He had to go to rehab. And I'm sure it was a Christian rehab and everything, but he had to go and allow the Lord to touch him, to heal him. And so what more does that say about us? We're chasing money, we're chasing success, we're chasing people to fill in these holes and to do the healing, but none of that is going to work. You have to be desperate enough. You have to want to be healed. You have to come to a point where you're like, God, even though this is messy, even though I may have to come out and tell some people, even though I may have to do some things that I don't want to do, God, I want this healing. That's the place that you have to get into. And I hope that a lot of us reach that place before it becomes too late. Because a lot of people do not reach that place. And that's why a lot of them are not still with us. And I'm not saying that there's going to be an answer for every question. I'm not going to say that there are days where I don't think about that situation, where I don't think about the harm that was done to me. But I believe that the Lord has strengthened me so much. Most of my healing, most of my healing, and I've talked about it, was that change of mindset. That was the greatest part of the healing. Because before then, I was in bondage. Before then, I was like, you should be guilty. I was listening to what the devil had to say. I was saying, you're guilty. You should be ashamed. You should be, I was agreeing with what the enemy was telling me. But when the Lord began to heal me, he changed my mindset to where I can look and I can say, yeah, this happened to me. But the Lord didn't call me to live in shame. He didn't call me to live in guilt. He didn't call me to accept and believe the lies of the enemy. He called me to be a conqueror. He called me to be confident. He didn't give me a spirit of fear. He didn't tell me to be defined by the things that has happened to me. He has given me such a different mindset, y'all. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. You have to experience it for yourself. But I really, truly hope that a lot of you who are survivors, that you allow the Lord to heal you. And it's not going to be easy. He may ask you to do some unconventional things that you don't want to do. But it's up to you if you want to heal. It's up to you if you want to heal. It's really up to you. Like, the Lord is not going to force his hand. I'm not going to force you. But I'm telling you right now that now is the time to heal, because there are so many ministries, so many things that the Lord wants to birth in all of you. But you're allowing something that the enemy put in your life to hold you back. I know it hurts. I know it's hard. I know that it's a lot to carry. So why not give it to God? Why do we as humans think that we are so strong and mighty that we can carry our own burdens, instead of giving it to God, our creator, our manufacturer, who literally died on the cross, rose again, and defeated death? Like, death is the worst thing that could happen to us. And he overcame that and gave us the power to do the same. And so what is it? What can he do? Do you want to heal? Are you tired? Are you tired of the torment? Are you tired of the late nights? Are you tired of smoking the pain away? Are you tired of drinking the pain away? That's the question of the day. How desperate are you? Do you want to heal? Do you want to heal? And I guess what I'll say too is just try him. I know a lot of you are apprehensive, and I was apprehensive at first as well. I'm like, God, what is telling my testimony and exposing myself going to do? How is that going to help me? It didn't make sense to me the first time the Lord called me to do it. But here I am on a YouTube channel telling my testimony, helping others. Well, hopefully helping others. Hopefully inspiring people. Giving people hope. Telling people the truth over the lies that the enemy told. Like, you never know. You never know what your life can look like. You never know the type of joy and success that the Lord has in store for you. But he cannot put you in places until you deal with your trauma. A lot of us feel like we have a lot of dreams. We have a lot of positions and things that we want to achieve, and rightfully so. But you have to deal with your trauma before you go there. That's why you see a lot of CEOs. That's why you see a lot of celebrities and business owners in high places. And they end up not being with us because they haven't dealt with their trauma. You cannot take your trauma to the top. You cannot operate in hidden things because as they remain hidden, the enemy still has jurisdiction. Like his natural habitat is darkness, and until you allow the Lord to shine his light in that darkness and bring truth, the enemy is always gonna have a hold on you. And if you think that the enemy is gonna let you go to the top and be successful and do everything that the Lord has called you to do without a fight, you have another thing coming. Like, he's coming to collect. I don't think people understand. The enemy's coming to collect. But just trust him. Just trust in the Lord and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. It doesn't say that we make our path straight. It doesn't say that we find the answer. It doesn't say that we heal ourselves. It says he makes our path straight. He does all the works. All we have to do is lean not to our own understanding, and in all our ways acknowledge him. In all our ways seek him. Ask him. Be desperate for him. And he will come and heal us. And he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I truly believe it. I'm a living testimony. I'm literally a living testimony. If you told me 20 years ago that I was going to be on a YouTube channel doing this, I would say you're crazy. But it's literally the power of God that has given me the confidence to overcome the guilt and shame that I was so locked up in. I was an unconfident person. Shy, timid, quiet. And I'm still working through it. But I have such a changed mind that I can see the type of person that the Lord is leading me to be. And I'm excited. I'm happy. I don't live in that bondage anymore. And so I just urge you, allow the Lord to heal you. Find someone. Talk about it. Tell your testimony. Do not keep your mouth shut. Because the more that you keep your mouth shut, the enemy will keep you in that bondage. He loves secrets. He loves when things are hidden. He loves when we keep things to ourselves. But there's freedom in your testimony. There's freedom in talking about it. Find someone. You know how many people... And the thing is, I think another thing that keeps people from telling their testimony is that a lot of people think that they're the only person who went through it. Like, that's a number one lie from the enemy. I've literally met people who I am still friends with today. There was a girl I met in a bathroom, and we were talking casually, And it literally came up that she was abused in her childhood. I met another person in passing, just talking. They were abused. And so if you just allow the Lord to heal you and you ask him, Lord, show me what to do. Show me who to speak to. You want me to tell my testimony, God? Bring me people who I can find. Bring me my community. He's going to do it. He literally plopped people this whole year and last year. I can testify. There are at least 5 people that the Lord has placed in my life who I've shared my testimony with, who I've spoken to, and the level of healing, the level of breakthrough, the level of weight that was taken off of my shoulders. And so I just want to say it's time to heal, because you may be successful in life right now, but trust me, if you don't allow the Lord to change your mind, to look at that situation, to look at that pain and allow him to change it for your glory and for your good, if you don't allow him to equip you with that mindset now, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. And I would hate for you all to be operating in these successful positions, have a family, have all of this, and you just break down one day. And so I hope that this message touched someone, that even in all of my rambling, and this is why I have a script, y'all, but even in all of my rambling, that at least one person was touched. At least one person got the message and the message went through. Now is the time to heal. Now is the time to heal. And so as always, please like, subscribe, comment, share your thoughts. And again, thank you all for coming with me on this journey and just sticking with me until I figure things out. But I hope that you all have a wonderful day and that you remain blessed. Until the next episode.